Hi there, it's Morgan Wood. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today I'm going to be answering your questions about me. Let's see just how shameless you can be. Okay, so this first question is, when was your first time in drag and when did you discover that it exists? Well, firstly, that's two questions. And the answer to the first is I had my first ever on-stage drag performance on the 26th of July 2018, which means that yes, Morgan is a Leo. And I first discovered that drag exists when I was 13 years old. I was in Australia with my family. We were visiting family friends and we watched the film Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which, if you don't know, is a film about 3 drag queens traveling across Australia in a school bus. And me, as a little 13-year-old gay boy, seeing this film was like, oh my god, I want to be a drag queen when I grow up. And here we are. But that's not the end of the story. Then the next year for my birthday, I asked to have a fancy dress party or a costume party specifically so that I could dress in drag at my own party. Which I did. I was very lucky that my family supported me and encouraged me to do that. Actually, none of my friends at the party knew that I was going to be in drag. So the experience was very thrilling and kind of fun because no one recognized me. But then at the same time it was also uncomfortable because I was only 13 and not really fully comfortable in my own body, so to try and embody something else was a little tricky. So it turns out that I didn't do anything with that desire for drag for another 20 years until I moved to Berlin and started discovering the drag scene here in Berlin, and going to drag shows and participating in them and feeling the energy of the crowd inspired me to want to go on stage myself. Okay, so this question I get a lot. Where are you from? I can't tell based on your accent. So a lot of people think that I'm from Australia, a lot of people think I'm American, sometimes Irish, occasionally people think I'm from Scandinavia. Actually, none of those are correct. I'm from the UK, I was born and I grew up in London. I lived there until I was 23 years old. I know I don't have a typical London accent. I think spending a lot of time teaching English as a foreign language and being around speakers of English from all over the world with different accents and different language backgrounds has changed the way I speak. It does happen sometimes that if I'm talking to particular people, my accent might change and I might sound more London, but this is my accent, this is how I speak, and whatever, deal with it. Okay, this question is, why did you move to Germany? Good question. So like I said, I lived in London until I was 23 years old. Then I started teaching English in different places around Europe, and I didn't want to live in London anymore, and I couldn't imagine living somewhere else in the UK other than London. And it so happened that I already could speak German, and I had a few friends living here in Berlin, so it just kind of made sense to move here. I'm very glad I did. I absolutely don't regret it. I mean, for one thing, I wouldn't have found my drag otherwise. At least not this kind of drag. Oh, I love this question. Okay, what do you think is missing from mainstream representation of drag? Great question. I think the simple answer is women. So drag has become really mainstream in the last, let's say, 5 years, largely thanks to RuPaul's Drag Race. And while I think it's great that this art form has got so much recognition, it's unfortunately rather limited in terms of the kind of representation that we get in mainstream media about drag. I would like to see more assigned female at birth bodies in drag spaces and non-binary people. So I want to see more drag kings, for example. Of course, not all drag kings have to be assigned female at birth. I would also like to see more non-binary people in drag spaces. We have some from Drag Race canon, and of course trans people. Again, there are a few from Drag Race canon, but the majority of people that we see on that TV show are cis gay men dressing up as women, which is totally a valid form of drag. I mean, that's what I do, but it's not all there is to drag, and I think we need to see more. Okay, this question, how did you meet your boyfriend? In the park. It's not what it sounds like. I was just casually sitting in the FKK area, which, if you don't know, means Freie Körperkultur, so it's an area where you can be nude in public in a park. Yes, that happens in Germany. And I was just casually sitting there with a friend, and this friend had been online and was talking to this person, and he came over and spoke to us, and clearly my friend was not interested at all in him, and I found him fascinating. I couldn't quite understand why. He was not like anyone I'd ever heard speak, and so I tracked him down and I asked him out on a date. Normal, right? What's your favorite eyeshadow color? Okay, this is kind of funny that my face is painted like this when I'm answering this question. So when I first started experimenting with drag makeup, I thought blue eyeshadow was a really good look on me because it felt safe. It's like a boy's color. It wasn't too feminine. And I thought that it complemented my eyes, actually. Then when I became a bit bolder with my choices of makeup, I discovered actually what looks better on my skin and with my eye color is pinks and oranges. So actually, right now, I think my favorite color for eye makeup is pink or pinkish purple. But you know, blue's fine too. How can I start doing drag myself? I really appreciate this question, but I don't have a one answer fits all. Although, that said, I would say just start. Just start playing around with dressing up, with makeup, whichever of the aspects of drag that you find the most appealing. Just pick it up and start playing with it. And it doesn't have to be perfect right away. Just, scroll through my Instagram feed and see some of my old pictures, you'll know what I mean. So really just start playing with it and see what inspires you, see which direction it takes. I don't know, I could give the advice like plan out your look, come up with your first performance, buy the outfit, get the wig, buy all the makeup, watch all the tutorials, but that might not work for you, so just play, have fun. It's supposed to be fun. Oh, and go and see drag shows. See what other people are doing that inspires you, see what things you like, see what things you're drawn to, and talk to those people. Drag performers are just people too. That was fun answering your questions. Thank you so much for sending them in. If you have more questions for me that you'd like answered, please leave them in the comments, or you can send me a message on Instagram, where you can follow me at Morganwood Callisto, MorganWoodCallisto. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Is it ready, honey? I'll be there in a second.